thank everyone for showing up here today and participating in our second round of our series in Global Perspectives on Electronic Music. It's really our Montco at Home series. I'll introduce Fred when he gets back, so just sit back and relax. Hopefully you're able to... he's back. Okay, so...
I'm back.
I'm just going to introduce you real quick. So Fred Azarty is an artist exploring the use of technology for creative and audiovisual experiences. After obtaining a computer science degree, he began developing complex software components for a variety of companies. At the same time, he developed his musical skills by working on several projects as a live musician, music producer, and rapper. Today, he uses music as a raw material for producing visual artwork, interactive installations, and immersive experience. Welcome, Fred, for joining us today. We're so happy to have you.
Yay, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes. So just to start off, where are you, zooming in from, so to speak?
I'm based in France, in Paris. So right now is really late for me, but we're good.
As you were saying earlier, as a musician and a programmer, we're kind of night owls anyway. So,
and let's just tack on the fact that you're in Paris, we're not. We're here in Montgomery County, but you've taken online programs. I see you with your Berkeley merch.
Yeah. Proud.
Yeah, so the great Berkeley School of Music, College of Music in Massachusetts. So the world is a smaller place.
Exactly. Right now is really a good... I love this time because we can learn whatever you want, whatever you want. And this is something we didn't have maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Now you want to learn something, internet, and you have some free, good content. And sometimes you have to pay, but this is really a good time to learn whatever you want. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And I just wanted to tell anyone that's joining us, if you have questions, just put them in the question or chat box, and we'll moderate that. And so by the end of our presentation, you can, we'll ask them. So please ask away. Just before we get started, I just wanted to ask, how do you feel, what inspired you as a computer programmer to pursue music? Was there any moment in time you're just
In fact, I always made both in parallel, make a will. In fact, my parents was like, you can have fun with your music, but you have a weird job. And I didn't know what I want to do. And in the university, I just figured out that, computer science is really cool. That makes sense with my brain, And in parallel, I always need music. In fact, that's really funny because I realized that before making music, I was listening a lot of music. And depending of my mindset, I was like, now I need a music to give me the groove, I need a music to chill, to just slow down. And I realized that I don't remember when everything was switching, but at the moment I'm just trying to...
streamlined.
Yeah.
And it makes sense a lot, just for at least me and some other, composers or people into it. It's just they kind of merge together anyway at some point. It's depending how you want to express yourself artistically.
Yeah.
It's empowering. It's a good thing. But with that being said, if we want to get started, then I can ask you questions after.
Let's go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Gonna share my screen.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So today, I'm gonna talk about what I'm called immersive music experience. I'm always say that my name is Fred. I'm artist, developer, entrepreneur. I'm a kind of multi-hat guys. But right now, since maybe 1 year, everything I'm working on is about this question: how to create a new musical experience using technology. And when I'm talking about musical experience, I really focus on three kinds of experience: learning experience, composition experience, and what I'm called exhibition experience. So tonight we're going to focus about the exhibition experience because I think this is a really cool subject. So from my point of view, and have to start from the beginning. So as I said, I was a data developer, full-time data developer on the days. I was my day job helping company to deal with data to understand what is my data, what can I do with it, how can I do something with it. And by night, I was working on different musical projects like the keyboard player, producer, rapper, and stuff like that. And one day I just realized that, in fact, music is data. So basically everything I can do in my day job, I could have fun by night with it too. And as data, I'm talking about, for example, MIDI, because for MIDI is just basic digital data with 1010 to say this is the velocity of this note, this is C2, for example. And you can extract this information, and now we made music with this information, but maybe you can, I don't know, open your door with this information or do whatever you want with this information. And also from the sound, you can have different kind of information from frequency. And I say, okay, so in the data world, we have some data visualization. Maybe I can make some music visualization from my track. And this is how I start a project named MIDI Painting. So the idea was to say, okay, I have a track. Everything in the track was in MIDI because I love to make my crazy thing in MIDI. And I am a control freak, so I love to use MIDI a lot. And I say, okay, I'm gonna take every track of this, every part of this track, and send this information to an application I'm gonna develop. This application is based on something named processing. Processing is really a simple framework to make some visual stuff. Not only visual stuff, but mostly visual stuff. And the idea was to say, okay, let's take this information and see what can I do. And from the same track, I was able to create different kind of image just by changing the algorithm. By changing, okay, when you receive a kick, when you receive a snare, make that, and use some random tool, because sometimes I can have different rules and say, okay, computer, be part of the process, shows what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And I was able to create that, this one, and I have other one. I took time to see how many duo I made. I have some 100, more than 100 tests like that. So it was really funny. And what I appreciate in this process is the fact that sometimes when you listen some music, you can love this music, but maybe I will love it and you will hate it. And sometimes I will love it because of something, and this is because of the same thing that you're going to hate it. I love the fact that from one track, we can have so many interpretations, so many feelings. And that was for me a way to show that represent this situation with some visual, to say from one track, you can have this one, that's all is different ones, but the raw material is the same. And at this moment, something happening in my head, like, this is just the beginning, we can do so much. And this is the good part is like, I was exciting. The bad part, I was like, oh man, you have to sleep a little bit sometimes. Because at the same time, I discovered AMBISONIC audio. So basically, AMBISONIC audio is the fact that you can have your sound in a 3D space. So basically, it's like we don't just have pan with left or right and try to play with the volume. You really can say this sound is here and this sound is here. And right now you have a lot of plugins to help you have fun with this kind of stuff. The good part of AMBISONIC audio right now is the fact that you don't have to care about what will be my end audio installation. You can just make your mix with your headset and then say, okay, at the end, I want to make a demo with 8 speaker or 16 speaker. But when you make your mix, you That doesn't matter at all. And a lot of people talk right now with AD music, and basically AD music is just using ambisonic sonic, but the real difference is in AD music is like head locked. So the audio doesn't clank as you move your head. But in audio in a VR environment, you will use also ambisonic technology, but when you move your head, they will say, oh, your head is on the left right now. We have to change the sound to give you the impression that you really move the sound too. And when I realized that, I was like, oh man, that's crazy. I have to do something with that. Because I realized that, oh, if I can have music visual and I can have ambisonic sound, I can really create some immersive music experience. And because with ambisonic sound, you don't care about if this is for your headphone or for a speaker. You just can say, I'm going to make something for my VR headset, and I can use it also for an installation later, because that will be the same. And I'll say, okay, we have to try something. And at the same time, we have the COVID stuff. So yeah, everybody have to stay home or say, okay, this is a good occasion to try a project named Sonic Distortion. So Sonic Distortion, the idea is that, okay, I'm gonna take one track again, I'm gonna put all this information in an application, and the idea is to create some 360 experience. So an experience that you can use your phone in order to discover the world, or if you have a VR headset, be able to use it too. At the beginning, I was like, easy. In fact, it was a little bit more harder than I would expected. So the process was, okay, send MIDI track again in our application, but from this application, I have to send some OSC information to another application in order to change the image. And I use something named Millimin. Millimin normally is an application for installation. I use it because this is an application. Before the lockdown, I had a training for this application. That was a good occasion to figure out how I can use it, make some practice with it. So from Millimin, I'm just send the image, record the image of Millimin, then put it in Final Cut. And from Final Cut, I was able to, okay, this is a 360 stuff, make some small editing. But when you finish that, this is just the first part. Because basically, if you want to upload your stuff in YouTube, for example, for 360, you have to export it and export your sound too with the 360 mix. And use something, say, spatial media metadata injector. With the name of this application, this is serious stuff, Only with the name, oh yeah, we don't joke anymore. This is good.
Is that an open source tool?
It's free. I think it's open source because you can find it in GitHub. So basically,
So everyone, you have access to it.
But at the beginning, I didn't know that. So at the beginning, I was Googling and try to figure out and understand why I have to use that. I don't want to use that. The UI is I don't like it. And at the end, maybe 1 week later, 2 weeks later, I understand all the process. I was like, this is why. But basically, when you have that, you understand all the stuff. Say, make your video, make your sound using a DVR Pro, for example. This is a plugin to deal with ambisonic sound, and then you have to use that to provide metadata to say this is an ambisonic sound, this is a 360 video, and you can have different kind of ambisonic sound. So you have to say what is it? Is this is a head locking, or is this like a VR environment, and then you can upload it to YouTube for 360 video. or for Facebook, it's a 360 video of Facebook is really good. Basically, I think it's better than YouTube. In fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you have different level, and depending on the level of implementation, you will have more detail. And the 360 level of the Facebook is really great and better than the YouTube one. That was really funny.
You wouldn't expect that.
No, me too. I was like,
you
really?
Think, right? I have to ask, I mean, I know we've talked about it ourselves, but like, is there a reason you use Reaper over Ableton or... I know we talked about it. I just feel like...
Yeah, this is a good question. In fact, when you want to make some ambisonic sound, you can't use Ableton or Bitwig. I'm kind of Ableton guys and Bitwig guys too, but you need something that gives you the ability to have multi-channel on one track. Because basically with the ambisonic, you can have sometime 4 channel plus 2 other channel for a stereo, and Reaper was. For me, that was a good opportunity to test Reaper because of the price. Because if it's not to Reaper, you have to use Logic. Logic, you can use Logic, but you have to pay Logic, and or you have to pay the other big brother like Pro Tools of Cubase, and this is another price,
Yeah, no, but I've just noticed even when I look at job descriptions or I look at ways for students to, free like Reaper has just been coming up a lot more recently.
You know what? Right now, every time I have to start a project, I'm start with Reaper.
Wow.
Because I realize that if I have to make a live set, for example, for sure I will take some Ableton, or if I want to integrate some MPE, like the keyboard and MPE instrument, I will take Bitwig for sure. But when I just want to test something or record something, Reaper is really strong. I never had any problem. Sometimes you have to figure out, how can I do that? Because it's different. It's just different. But when you get it,
it's just the popularity. It's just, Reaper's been around for a while, and just the popularity booming lately.
But I think because they really work a lot on the UI. Basically, when you have a good UI, this is a good point. Yeah, this is a Reaper. I think this one is maybe not the basic theme, but
10 years ago it did not look like that.
No, but right now it's really cool. They really try to put everything clean. And the other good point, for example, if you want to make some OSC to control Reaper, it's integrated in Reaper. You can do that. You already have. If you need some web UI in order to have, for example, iPad and control the Reaper, you have that in Reaper by default. You know what I mean? You want to be able for an installation to move some plugin parameter or volume, you can control all this stuff in Reaper by OSC by default.
So that's kind of similar. We teach Max in this 137 course we're doing, and so Max has integrated itself with Ableton, right? And you could do some of those same things with Max. But I think in Reaper, it's not a visual programming language you're using, right?
So Reaper has the script, so you can script some stuff, but without that, because in Reaper everything is an action. And you are able to really, in Reaper, every time you have to do something, this is an action. And you can create your combination of action. For example, say duplicate, take the first one, mute it. You can create a shortcut for this combination of action. And for that, you don't need, you just have to be able to read and to click. You don't have to do anything. If you...
listen, it's accessible, and I always talk about this in my classes. Just we all, I think, Dr. Martin, we all do. It's just that this is so accessible now. It's not. There's no barrier, and it's everyone.
And basically, if you want to, I think the good point is that YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel, Reaper Mania, and another one I forget the name, but it will come back. Basically, every time I have to find something, I'm just go to YouTube. In this channel, tap what I'm looking for, good explanation, good video, And I'm like, oh, just that hits. And for me, the community is really, really good for Reaper. You have good people because people really love, it's like a passion, you know.
The community is very like tight knit and helpful too. And I think that speaks for the Reaper community, the software companies, like just the fact that they have a community and they're supportive of their consumers. I don't even like to use that word, but like people using their software. So,
and that's important for our students to know, because, you feel like you have to be finished. Like you have to know everything about OSC or everything about Macs before you dare to go out on the internet, because people are going to troll you and call you newbie but the reality is, in these really like welcoming communities, that's not how it feels, right? I mean,
definitely.
I remember just asking questions, like some simple questions. It was like everyone's just like, "Oh my gosh, here, this is how you do it. Do you want me to expand upon it, like even more, and spend 10 hours just showing you this one?" Like, just everyone's just so friendly. Like, it's just,
And I really love that in the Reaper community, because the price of Reaper, I don't remember the price, but the price is really nothing, because basically you pay one time maybe something like 16 or something like that, and you have all the updates. This is a one shot
for life.
For life. And some people was like, man, how can I not pay?
Yep.
The application is good. The application, you know that the application will stay. Every time you have a lot of update with a lot of improvements, they listen for the community. What do you want more? So basically for my studio record task, I use Reaper right now. Right now we're recording a podcast for another project, and every time I use, I have Reaper, Ableton, and Bitwig like that, and I go,
yes,
Reaper every time, and it's open so fast. And I can talk about Reaper for a long time. This is not the subject, but something really cool is really light. Sometimes some track, and on Ableton you have to freeze, blah blah blah. Sometimes with Reaper, I was like, "Oh, you're still alive, man! Oh, it's good." And the way they deal with that would be my last point on Reaper. The way they deal with the phrasing and unphrase is insane. Why? Because you can say, in Ableton, when you phrase a track, you can't do anything on it. If you want to add a reverb, you have to unphrase, put your reverb, and then phrase again, or make some stuff like that. In Reaper, you can phrase something, and I need a reverb, put a reverb on this stuff. And when you say, oh man, this note is not a good one, I want to change it, unphrase everything, and you can decide when you want to freeze. So if you have 4 plugins, you can go to the second one and say, I want to freeze the first one, and the second one gives me something, and click. And just that for me is really cool, because I love using MIDI, but I don't mix with MIDI. I need my audio. Yeah. And sometimes I just say, okay, freeze the MIDI in audio. I mix my stuff, and I'm like, man, you can have the break now and change something, and freeze, change my MIDI, freeze again. That's all. And this is what I
right. So what's critical that Fred's saying here for the people out there who are starting out, right, is that you will develop a workflow.
Yeah.
And so try these different products, find the workflow that matches the project you're on. Because you hear Fred saying, like, he starts with Reaper now, but maybe there's a project that doesn't quite fit Reaper and he moves to Bitwig. I mean, you train yourself in multiple tools, and then you use the tool that fits the workflow you have for that project. So you can't get an answer to the question of like, oh, what's best?
No. Yeah. Exactly.
Within and at least the SRT program, and now moving in with computer science with our using Ableton and stuff, you get a taste of so many different DAWs. So there's no right or wrong workflow for you. So if anyone ever tells you this is the only way, this is the right way, no, there's so many. It's your way. So,
yeah. That's really funny, because this is the point of my conclusion. So about the fact that you have to decide what is your context. And sometimes the context is the deadline of this project is yesterday. So basically, you will use something that you know. But if the deadline is maybe 1 month later, maybe this is a good opportunity to test something else because you have time and you have a real project to work on it. And at this moment, you can't really figure out, yeah, this is the only one. No, that doesn't make sense. What is the context? And the context is the key of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Back to this slide.
Sorry, we dragged you off track.
I get really passionate about this. Like, I totally get the, don't worry, you're fine.
So basically, this is a workflow. Really, the basic point of the workflow. I didn't put all the detail, but because this is a lot of try, fail. Realize that if you want to put it in my small VR headset, I have to use FFmpeg MPEG to crank some parameter because it don't use. So for sure, for this kind of project, you will have to test a lot. But at the end of the day, this is the main room of my apartment. So this is a 360 photography of you have to think like it like like that. Nice. But this is a 360 photo of my apartment, and the story behind the sonic distortion is to show how music can help me see my environment differently. Because during the lockdown, I was just sitting in this place and I was fed up. I was like,
saying
no.
4 walls.
Exactly. I was like, no, come on, no, this place is really too small right now because I'm crazy. And at this moment, the only way I have to really to think differently was to just listen to music. And because I was listening to music, I was like, oh, not worry, I gotta clean this house, whatever. And I say, okay, we're gonna try to figure out how we can this feeling, how I can express this feeling visually. So from this photo, I was able, for example, to have this kinds of drawing. That's really funny. I've seen some animal. I was like,
yeah.
It looks like a bear with wings.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes don't you post things? You're like, what do you guys see? And like everyone has like different comments. Like, like it looks like this, but that totally looks like a bird.
That was really funny. It's like a psychologist test. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone, if you want to chat in the chat, or what do you guys see? Like, what does everyone see? Like, do you see, like, yeah. But yeah, no, that's really fascinating.
So these are all different audio files warping that panoramic image.
In fact, every track of my track, that makes sense. Every track of the sound provides some not really generate. In fact, I received the information. I was able to change some parameter or some application like that was more like what we call shader. This is application, but in the video card of your computer, not the CPU, the GPU. And so I had some different plugins, so not sound plugin, but visual plugin. And my idea was to say, okay, when you receive a kick, depending on the velocity of the kick, you have to change this parameter. But because you have the historic, basically when you have 1 minute of the sound, you have all the information from the 1 minute. So everything was changing like that. And this is how you can have a 360 video. And depending where you're looking for, you can see this beer, for example, of this.
I mean, this just makes
stuff.
This really makes you think, what is reality? Like, you make reality what you want it to be. Like, you can, like, just to bring in that COVID conversation, like, and you know, yes, you can stare at those 4 walls, or do I want to make my reality something interesting, engaging with the tools I have?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really changed my point of view of the world. Yeah. Sometimes we are like, routine is not good, but in fact, this is not routine not good. This is your point of view on the routine, which not good. And that will kill my brain. I was like, man, you have to figure out how you can change your point of view on some events. And it's like psychology stuff, but I love a sentence who say that by default, events are neutral. And everything is depending of the story you want to put on the event. But by default, the event is neutral. For example, for the COVID, I was like, I'm at home, I can't work. But without the COVID, maybe sonic distortion I didn't make sonic distortion. So it is a bad or good situation. I don't know if we really have to decide right now, but from this situation, I decide to make something, and this is also different for me. You can control events, but you can control your mind on the event.
Yes.
And that's really the story of this project, in fact. So what next? Because we're still in the COVID stuff, but yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm really excited because I work on the project in order to put interactivity in this kind of environment. For the moment, for example, sonic distortion was just like, and you can turn your hand, hear the sound differently depending when you look at, see the world differently. But my idea is really to give the people the power to interact with the environment. And right now I'm working on something named Creative Piano. This one is a VR project. Basically, I have I composed something, a solo piano track. And the idea was to say, okay, by default, when you hear piano solo, you just like, and you have the stereo. But if I can take every note separately, put it in the space, and be able to have every note turn on me, and I can maybe go like that and come here, or maybe follow a note, and that's how can be the experience. And I'm really excited about this one because I made some tests last week, and that's crazy what you can do with that. Basically, because sometimes you just focus on one part, you don't hear some note because this note is just too far. And the composition is really different because of that. And I realized that sometimes if you make some move like that with the camera, you have, because of the reverb of the space, you have some effects happening like that. So this is really my current project. I think I want to finish it for the end of the next month, but that's really crazy. Wow. And because the cube, you have different size of cube, because when I don't play the note, it's just a cube like that, and every time I play it, it's just depending of the velocity, it just change the size. I would like to put some light on it too and make other stuff, but this is my current. And I love the fact that with VR environment, you don't have limit. You can do whatever you want. You can, if you can imagine it, you can do it. Basically, you don't have to say, "Oh man, I will need 16 speaker." No, you just need that.
Yeah. And Justin, you bring up a good point. You're saying imagine VR to create music itself by reaching out and touching waves, frequencies, and notes. And that's exactly what you can do with this. Like, exactly.
Really crazy. We can do so much. For the moment, this is just this one, but I'm already thinking about another VR experience, because you can't put all in one project. So you have to make some choice. Because
that's an excellent point. That's a really good point. Like sometimes, when we're working on things, we're like, we have to use every skill we know. We have to use every plugin. We have to, it's like, no, you can choose like 3 things and really hone in on it. And, other projects for other things.
I think this is the best thing to really stay focused, because if I have a story about myself, for example, nobody cares about what's happening to my neighborhood. At the same time, they was focusing on what I'm talking about, right now. If I'm talking about my music right now, nobody care about my tax, So I have to focus on this part, and because I focus on that, people will, this sounds good, that's interesting, and this is how you create connection. Sometimes you have to really make some shows I don't want to use that. I don't want to use this stuff because I want really to focus on that. And this is what people like, in fact, when you focus on this one subject. And this is, for me, how people make a lot of projects. fast, because they focus on the ones. When you focus, it's really clear what you want to do, and you want to finish this one to make another one. You know?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah.
So this one is a VR experience, but I also have another project. This one is for the end of this year. This one will be an installation. I will have two residency. I'm really glad because I will have the opportunity to have two residency in December and January in an environment where I will have 8 speaker and a wall to be. Yeah, that's really.
Wow, nice.
I'm so glad about this.
That's so awesome.
So and this time I would like to have the same concept of drawing stuff on the wall based on the music, but I will create some small instruments. That will be objects, but people don't know this is instrument. That will be some object, and because you will have to play with, you will some sound appear when I do that with my hand. Oh, something appear in the wall, and the idea here is just to say when you take action, if everybody take action, you can create something that we didn't know before that can happen, but we have to take action to say that, to create a sound, to create a vision, and and this project is really, for the moment, I write a lot. I make a different plan to figure out what should be the musical stuff, what should be the drawing, stuff like that. But the main point is really that make people take action as an installation, and the concert will be them, in fact.
Yeah.
I think I will be outside here and see, oh, that's really beautiful what you did.
Yeah.
But this is really a point I want to go deeper. Some interactive, like interactive concert where people is really the real artist of the concert. You just provide an environment. And people just create the real art because they, at the moment, they decide to put the end like that, and that made some effect. So we're gonna see how this project will going on, but should be cool.
So one of the aspects of this that's so amazing and important to me is that, some people feel that people have become such passive consumers of music, right? You can stream everything that was ever recorded anywhere for $10 a month. And so what is there to create? It's all been done. And I'll just, kind of plug into a channel and listen. Yeah. And this is the exact opposite of that, right? Yeah. This is saying that you can create your environment. You can see a different reality in your environment. You can build with just the tools you have right now when you came today to this installation, something that's beautiful. And that's a really powerful message.
It's really funny because back in the day, we don't remember that, but listen music was an experience. We was say, hey, people come, we're going to listen music.
Yeah.
Right now, you're just like, oh, I need something. Oh, let's put some music. But
it's very passive, and now it's...
Yeah.
You don't have to make it a passive experience anymore.
So my point was, how can I change some passive to active again? Mm-hmm. And I think the best way to pass to active again is really to provide people a way to be an actor, this environment. Mm-hmm. And what I like with that is the fact that basically every time we will have some concert of AZ Trio, that will be a different concert because different people will be there and they will not make the same action. Yeah.
Is that what
so every time there will be a new event, in fact. And that's something I really love to say that.
I think it's important when we're so compartmentalized, even let's forget COVID for a second. We're all compartmentalized, being passive listeners, being consumers of, social. I'm guilty, right? Social media. but being someone participating in something communal in this out of this world space is something I think people crave without even knowing. If that makes sense. I think people want that sense of belonging or a sense of contributing to art, even if they're not even a active artist. If that makes sense.
But in fact, This is another subject. Say, who is an artist? You know,
Right. I know.
who is an artist? Because if an artist is someone who know how to use the tools, with this kind of tools, everybody can be an artist.
Yes. Thank you. You said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah, because basically, and with this kind of tools, we can't compare to say, yeah, I'm better than you. No, you are different than me.
Yeah.
And this is what is really important. I guess for me, this is really what is really important, to say, no, this is not a competition. This is just an exploration. You make your exploration, I made mine. And in parallel, you can have some stuff together.
Yeah,
That basically is.
It's like working alongside each other and working each other up rather than clashing and saying,
Exactly.
like I'm doing all these weird hand motions. I'm just like this way and that way, this way. But no, it's like it's we're in this together, and it doesn't have to be a competition. Out there listening, like this doesn't have to. When you as an artist look at your own artwork, you don't have to be like, oh man, I have to compare it to everyone on the top 50 Spotify art. You know, you don't have to do that. It's you. It's your voice and your slice in the world, so to speak, and how you improve it and stuff with your work.
And there's a time aspect to this that I like. You know, it reminds me of like Tibetan monks will take all these time to make these elaborate sand mandalas, right? And they'll take a week and they work 24 hours and then they brush it all away. Because I think people get so caught up in the idea of I'm going to work on this until it's perfect. You know, they can't let go. And so with AZ Trio, I mean, do you even retain what you've created? I mean, you create it and then it's
in fact, I would like to retain what we create and send them for the people who we participate on this stuff. This is really the idea.
So they have a takeaway.
Yeah. Yes, just say at the beginning, for example, give me my email, your email, and when everything was cool, I can send you a 360 video with your interpretation.
Wow.
That's really, this is really cool, something that we can do right now, because I have some, wait a minute.
Everyone in the chat, by the way, you're making really good points, and I'm glad that, especially without doubt, whether behind the scenes, the voice you hear, the scenes you see, the ideas, the voice, etc. Yes, right? Like we're all, no matter what, you know, if you're the person with doing, like, if you think of film production, if you're the person just doing the lighting, if you're the person writing the script, if you're the person mixing the sound, you're all contributing to a bigger cause. And this is the same concept to me. Like, yeah. You
know that? This is a 360 camera. It's small.
Nice.
The price is not so high. So basically, you can record everything from the live set, record the wall with this 360 video, and you have a 360 video of the concert. And that's really easy to do that right now. That's not so hard. Maybe 5 years ago, you will need some 16 GoPro 8 in the now with that you can do that. This is with that I took the photo of my room for sonic distortion.
Wow.
I just put it, click on the button, run to don't be in the photo, and come back, and that's it.
Good point. And it's like we talk about this in our one of our courses. Is that, like, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated to be good.
No. Right now, can you imagine what our phone can do now?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Power we have in that. I saw a man one time take this iPhone and put it on the screen and make some whatever. I was like, iPhone? Really? Yeah, he was making some video editing on the iPhone. I was like, you can put your iPhone on the screen and make video editing. Okay. So now we have to stop with quality. The quality is enough. Whatever you buy one now, the quality is enough to make something. The real question is it's not about the quality, it's not about the technicity, it's about the story.
That's
for me,
right.
it's Yeah, it's all about, for me, this is, I have to make a t-shirt. It's all about storytelling. Yes. Everything is about storytelling. People don't care about the high quality. No. Sometimes you need a level of quality, but the level of quality depend more about you than other people. Sometimes other people don't really make the difference between the high end and the middle end. And right now, everything has a good quality for do whatever you want.
Yeah, and
Fred, this is just an amazing collection of creative ideas. And like, how would you describe to someone how to become so creative? I mean, are you visiting certain websites that spark your ideas? Do you just dream at night and you wake up and decide you've got a new project idea? Or, I mean, I don't think everyone lives this kind of life. And I'm just wondering what tips you can give us to be like Fred.
So, like Fred, I don't know, but I have different points is my conclusion. That's really a good transition. Basically, my point is, first, I realized that technology opens new opportunity. The opportunities are here, but you have to open your eyes, firstly. Then, technology are just tools.
Yes.
So basically, as we said, if technology is tools, you need a goal before select your tools. So take time to read a book, take time to discuss with people, take time to just see outside your house, you know. Right now, I'm a big fan of photography, and now I really try to have every week at least 1 hour to just make street photography. Why? Because that really helped me, that forced me stop one too much. Stop a little bit and see around me what can be cool to photograph. And because of that, that opened my mind of what's around me, and that helped me see some opportunities. And this is really a key for me. Photography is really a key for me right now to be more creative.
No, but it's like a way to pause and almost, lack of a better term, meditate or be meditative of your space and surrounding when everything's so chaotic. Even when we're creative, we're all over the place, but a photograph is just like this like captured moment in time. And yeah, I could go on about that too. So.
And this is really hard for me. This summer was like for me photography therapy, because I had a lot of time. My daughter and my wife was in vacation. I was alone at home, and so sometimes I just took my photograph stuff, go outside and say, I will stop here and try to just take time, watch stuff, take time to see the position of the sun, to understand, oh, we can do something with the shadow here. I didn't see. And because of that, I realized that at home, I have another look of the shadow of the sun in my home, you know, because of that, because this moment helped me, forced me stop running. For me, this is the point. Sometimes you have to stop and just and take time. And right now we are in the time when everybody is running, everybody wants to be fast, sometimes we just have to slow down a little bit and take a rest. And thanks to the rest, you will see, oh man, this stuff is here. That happened for me every time I forget something. I lost something. Oh, well, where's my phone? Oh, my phone is here, you know.
So that's an outstanding answer, right? So we have to start assigning that in our courses, Jen. Like, instead of sitting and cruising through the internet for another 6 kind of leads on this homework assignment, you need to go outside and bring back one image.
And sometimes talk with people.
Like in one of my classes, and I know some of them are in here right now, you'll be doing this in 2 weeks, it's just recording sounds at different times of the day outside, and just going like, and just reflecting on what's the quality and what's the difference. Do you hear cars? Do you not hear cars? Do you hear crickets or not? Like, just being able to hear the differences, just simply the time of the day. So that's the preview of you guys will be doing.
That's really funny, because in my photography work, hard to this kind of stuff to say I have a place. Sometimes for photography, you use like I have to take every word and go fast. And some people say no, you can take the same word at different part of the day, and try to figure out what's the best time for the photography that you want to be. Because depending of the position of the sun, the shadow will be different, the light will be different, and depending on the season, you will have different sun, different shadow too. Because in summer, this is not the same than right now. And I was like, man, sometimes we try to see everything, but we just have to see here at this different moment, and that would change all the game. Wow. And that's really something that shocked me. I was like, oh, come on. That's so obvious in the same time that's so wow, mind-blowing, you know?
Yeah, no, amazing. So what do you hear? You're saying like no code to all code.
Yeah. So basically right now, if you want to use technology, you can have different kind of visual tools. This is a list of tools that I made some tests with. So OpenRNDR is the more like nerd one, you know, you have to code everything. You have to really nerd because you have to really have your development environment, use the good stuff and code everything. Processing is a little bit more accessible because they provide user environment is a little windows with a lot of examples, stuff like that. But processing is really hard, so you can have really hard, not all in the bad the bad way, all in the fact that you can have a lot of resources, a strong community, and you will have a lot of help with processing, but you have to code. P5PS is like processing, but for the web environment. So if you want to make some stuff for the web with the same mindset than processing, P5PS is your best friend. Then you have Unity. Unity is more, at the beginning, Unity was a game engine. So you want to make a 3D game. You have two possibility, Unity and InWheel. Unity for me is the easiest one. And right now they will really provide tools to stuff outside the game development. So you want to make some animation, creative coding stuff, you can use Unity. And the good part with Unity is split. You have a part you can make drag and drop, you can make some so much stuff without one line of code. You can have a timeline, and I found some stuff to say you can import your MIDI in the timeline in Unity and say every time you receive a MIDI on this stuff, you can change the size of another one without one line of code. So with Unity, you're good. But if you want to you need some specific stuff, you can have code too. And this is what I love with Unity, and I use it a lot right now. This is because sometimes I want drag and drop, click, and every time I say, okay, now I need something smart, boom, 2 click, and I can put my line of code and make whatever I want. Then you have Touch Designer. Touch Designer is more like Max for Live. So you drag and drop, you have to make your link, and it's really big community. Basically, I don't like Touch Designer, but because I'm old, maybe I'm stupid right now. But the UI is so, I don't like the UI, you know. And I was like, hey, if I have to spend 1,000 hours on an application, it's really difficult for me to.
I draw the line at 1,000 hours.
I really don't like the UI. This is me, but it's really powerful. I have a lot of friends that use it, and sometimes in Instagram you have a lot of people that show off some example of this is what I did with Touch Designer. I like, yeah, man, really powerful. And Touch Designer and Ableton are really friends. Basically, you have some different models to link Ableton and Touch Designer to a lot of stuff. So that's really cool. You just have to put on Max for Live Touch Design plugin somewhere, and Touch Design you can receive all the information that you need. So this is a good option for this kind of stuff. And the last one maybe is kind of my favorite. In fact, I use a lot of Unity, but I love Magic Music Visual because by the name you can know that this is something to make music visual. So by default, you can say, okay, my song, my MIDI or my song come from this channel, or this channel, and I would like Max for Live stuff to receive this information, and you can generate a video, and it's really light, it's really fast to go in, and really easy. In fact, for me, if someone kind of afraid about Max, for example, start Magic Music Visual, and when you will maybe say, oh, I would like to do that, but I can't do it, you can try something there. But this one is a good option. Small community, really small community, because I don't remember how I found it, but when I found it, I was like, why nobody talk about this application? It's weird. But really good product, I like it. And this is why I was talking about from no code at all, for example, Magic Music Visual, to all code. Open our NDR, for example, is really for you want to control everything with your code. This is a good the way to go. Open our NDR, for example. Small community, but really cool guys. Had a virtual meetup with them maybe this week. And that was really cool. We was maybe six, and we was talking about the evolution of the product and stuff like that. Really cool guys.
You don't happen to know the guys who do Heavy M, do you? They're French.
Hey,
you know Bob. He's in France.
Heavy M is more for mapping.
Projection mapping.
Yeah, projection mapping. So I didn't. Maybe I downloaded it one time just to make some tests, but at this moment I was looking for something more like Magic Music Visual or Touch Designer. So I said, oh, sound good, and changed my mind to do something else. But that's cool. For me, this is a good product because it's really answer a need of have something simple to make projection mapping and make an introduction to make projection mapping. So this is not my specialty, cool. But this is something I really like to. Nice. This line for me is really important one is the difference between a technical demo and an artwork in storytelling. Sometimes we already have artwork, but because we decide this is just for test or this is a small stuff, we devaluate our work. So a lot of, for example, MIDI painting at the beginning was a technical demo, but more I was working on more that opened my mind on some stuff and a story appeared in my head. And it became a hard work. So I think it's really important to understand that storytelling for me is a key that open a lot of opportunity. A hard work without storytelling is just a technical demo. And sometimes people don't care at all about your technical demo if you don't have a story about it. So this is really important. Storytelling is a key. If you have a story, you will find a way to maybe with small technical demo, really we have reaction of people. You don't need a big technical stack to make a good hard work. You need a good story. That's hard.
And that's absolutely true. So I've seen these little clips. I forget who they were from. And there's a box, and in the box is a big square and a little square. And as they move, you end up crying because your mind puts a story on how the little square is being bullied by the big square and can't get out. Like your mind wants a story.
Yeah. Yes. And for me, this is really the key. Story is the key. It's all about storytelling. It's all about.
And that's the big takeaway for me, honestly. But I know there's people here that hear me say this all the time. Like, we can have all the tools we want. We can have all the fancy equipment we want. But if we don't have a story to tell, be it musically, artistic, whatever artistic medium you're using, it values it. It's not as meaningful.
Yeah. And I think we lost a lot of motivation because of this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sometimes we want to be technical, and at the end of the day, you're like, okay, now I'm good, but I don't feel it. I don't know
Yes.
why.
Thank you.
And for me, the why is here. You take, and this is why sometimes you have some good musician, for example, really good musician, but they don't get. You don't get it.
Hold to it.
It's like you are good, but I don't feel anything. And sometimes some people not so good, but when they play, you tell your story. I don't know how to explain that. It's really weird. But because of that, you like, yeah, you talk to me. Yeah, you make a mistake here, but in life, we all make mistakes. You know what I mean? This is a musical mistake, for example. But you're like, yes, talk to me. You talk to my life. Like, so we don't care about this mistake. Keep going. And for me, this is all about the story. This is more fundamental stuff that we, as artists, we need to understand, because put technical behind a story, we change everything. But have just a technical without a story, just doesn't make sense for me.
Absolutely.
And I have to fight with my brain every day with this one. That's really funny. I think I will make a poster and put it somewhere to say, because as a technical guy, first as a developer, and when you have fun, you went to Berkeley to make some Ableton Live performance and stuff like that. You're like technical, and you have to remember, man, that doesn't make sense. What is your story? Oh, and that's the funny thing is right now, every time I have to work on a new project, I take a time to take a coffee and just write the project. This is something I didn't do before. Write the story before. And when I have that story, I like, okay, now I can see which tools I'm going to use in order to implement this story. But now I'm really focusing on the story first.
Amazing.
The last point, this is my point of view. I don't know if everybody will agree with me, but be a PDA. A PDA for me is a project-driven artist. Stop doing stuff for doing stuff. Don't evaluate your work. Every time you do something, if you think about this thing as a project, a lot of decisions will change. For example, if you think about something as a project, you will have to choose your tools. You will have to focus on something because you will not able to do everything. And because of that, you're like, okay, because for me, a project have a deadline. If you don't have deadline, this is not a project. Yeah. This is a way how you want to discover. But when you have a project, basically you have a deadline. Sometimes the deadline will change. Doesn't matter, but you have to put you a deadline. You have to put some limitation on this project. And if every time you have to do something, you think about it as a project, your portfolio will appear automatically. Every time you do that and you have to explain somebody what you did, I have this project. It's more better than I have some track on my computer.
Unfinished.
Unfinished. Yes, and this is really a good point, because when you talk about project, this is something that you finish. And I love to see that the Mona Lisa, for example, before the last second when the artist say this is finished, it was just a work in progress.
Yeah.
Finish is 1 second. Finish is 1 second when the artist say, I'm done. Oops. We pass from work in progress to artwork. That's really crazy how 1 second can change everything. So basically, projects, deadline, finish something, and don't try to be so perfect.
Yes.
Just try to finish something to pass on something else. This is a journey. And what I love right now, and that's really a clock for me, is sometimes I'm just sit here and I'm trying to, I think too much to make plan, to say, oh, I'm going to do that, then that and that. And I just stuck on a moment. I don't have any idea. And I realize this is when I take action on the first step that my mind can open. Okay, you make place. Because you take action on that one, it is not in your head. It is in your hand. Now I can put something in your brain. And take action. That make all the difference. Take action. And I think trust your gut.
Good one.
And this is a fight, my fight too. Why? Because sometimes you can feel that ambisonic sound, for example. At the beginning, I was like, why should I take time to understand what is ambisonic sound? I just want to make some live set with Ableton Live, and I can't use this plugin with Ableton Live, and I don't want to use Reaper. I was like that, really. And something inside me said, come on, just take some time to discover the stuff. And because I trust my gut, now I have the link. Now I can say, oh man, that open opportunity to make some VR, some installation, more stuff. But if I was so in my brain and not in my gut, maybe we didn't have this conversation right now, maybe. So trust your gut. You can't understand everything. You can't understand everything. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, I feel it. Let's do it.
But this is so amazing. I'm so grateful to you for being with us today. These are this feels to me like the type of things that you would have said to yourself if you could have talked to like a 15-year-old friend.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what you need.
Yes.
Exactly. And the last one, I guess the last one, is start now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to finish your degree or to waiting for the end of this program to start working on something. I mean, I'm a father of two. I have a part-time as a developer. I have to work on my own business, and I can find time to have this discussion with you. So basically, if I can do that, a student can do more.
They must have more than 24 hours a day in Paris. I think that.
No.
Yeah. What time?
This morning I was like, we need one day more in the week. I think we need one day more.
That would fix everything.
Yeah. Just one day more. But start now, because faster you start, faster you will figure out what will be the next step. You will figure out what you can do, and just start now.
Absolutely. Wow.
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, I know if we were a crowd, there'd be a standing ovation. But
Fred, I have to tell you, Jen and I are in the chat, and we're saying this is a TED Talk.
Thank you so much.
We've got to get you some bigger audience.
Basically bundled everything I tried to preach, or just, even for myself, not just to just students, but just myself. Start now, trust your gut, the storytelling aspect versus the technical aspect, just bundled into 1 hour is just oh.
That's really funny because we didn't discuss before about that, and
it's organic. It just
happens. Exactly.
Yeah. I want to does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask, from anything from MIDI painting to the creative process to anything we discussed in this last hour, which was amazing. Does anyone have any questions? Just type them out and we can field them real quick.
Yeah, I think we were handling things in real time a bit. Fred, that's chat is going to be great. I'm really glad we were documenting all this.
Got 2 questions. So I think I want to go back to the 3 things to focus on. What part was that? The 3 things to focus on. Was it the art installation piece, or was it? Is there something else? Actually, can we open it up for having other people talk in here? I'm not sure. I
think if you go to participants, you can unmute them. Okay, you can allow to talk.
Oh, yeah,
right.
I guess.
Yeah, okay, let me do that. Allow to talk. There you go. You're permitted to talk. You're muted, though, Jeffrey.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. There you are.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, no, I was going back. This has been awesome, by the way. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This has been really cool. I was just I think when it was coming down to the artists, to the artist as a whole, I think if I'm remembering incorrectly, you were mentioning the 3 specific 3 things to focus on within the overall creation. And I think all of us as artists, we all have our minds wander so much on we hear and what we see. And I'm a high school teacher myself, and today I was talking to my students about the Billboard Awards last night, which is like so not related at all, but just like I was having a conversation about like what we hear and like the things that of what we want to I don't know, like connect on. And so like you had mentioned that, like how do we, like, how is it the best way to narrow your mind? And I had said in the chat, I said, I feel like all artists we're also gray. There's no black and white when it comes to musicians and artists. Like we're just gray. How do we narrow our mind?
Okay, once again, I use this tool, whole school tools. But basically, every time I have to.
What is that, Fred? I've never seen such a thing. How much power? Do I USB?
No USB, but this is larger than the iPad, you know? No, basically, I think the big point is to help your brain, find a way to help your brain. My brain, for example, is really bad to retain information. So I have to put information down, but it's good to process information. So my point right now is just to say, okay, I have to figure out how I can make place in my head. So I draw every time, write some idea every time, and get information and process them.
Okay.
And my way to, and because I'm free my mind, I'm able to receive more information for maybe just my daughter or my actual work too, you know. And for me, the main point is found how you work, in fact, how your brain work, and help your brain provide the best that it can. Mm-hmm. My process is really simple. Is every time I have an idea, write something somewhere, because I know that because of that I will be able to digest this information and see after if I have some link. I also use another application named Notion that will help me put all my information. I really love Notion right now. Put all my information in Notion and then be able to maybe see some link. Okay. And because I made that, it's really helped me take one point and focus on this point, because I'm not afraid to forget right now. So this is maybe, I think this is my process. It's like I have some idea, I just draw some stuff and put it in Notion if need. And after that, try to make some filter, because you have too much information. I have to focus on one information, one project, or one story, for example. Sometimes we want to make a blockbuster in one project. Sometimes you just have to split it and say, no, this is 3 different stories, and I have to cut it and select one and focus on this one. And I'm not afraid to do that, because I know that I will be able to capitalize on the other story later. As soon as I'm alive, I can make other project. And that gives me the motivation to really finish this one, because I know I have other story to play with, in fact. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, absolutely. And it's, as I said, I feel like, sometimes in my mind, I get stuck on just one specific thing, and I can't seem to get myself past it. And no, I absolutely, I agree 1,000%. And, it's just a matter of not so much, I don't want to say trial and error. It's more just, as you said, focusing on just that one thing. And,
Yeah, I really love a book named The One Thing, where they explain that to be able to finish something, you have to focus on one thing at the time. I always have different projects, because this is me. But on one day, I will say, okay, this is the day for the project X, and I will focus only on this one. But when I was I'm hit, for example, my mind is processing information for the X. If I have some idea for another, for the Z project, I will just say, wait a minute, I wrote it in Notion, for example, and say, this is not your day, Z. Your day is tomorrow.
Thank you, but
thank you, but your day is tomorrow. Today, this is X, and I really focus on the X one. And this is how I can really free my mind and don't have frustration about. I know that I have to focus on one, but I have different idea. No, this is one day for this project. I will see. And to be honest, every week I really try. Every time I'm prepare every Sunday I prepare my week, and every Sunday I like, what can I do to be proud of me next week?
Oh,
And
I like
this,
that.
Wow.
and this is really this question who led me to choose what will be my priority for this week. And I thought, if I did that, I will proud not so much. And this is not important. Okay, we can do it later. But I not have frustration about it because in Notion, I deal of my task in Notion. This stuff is in Notion. I will not forget it. And maybe next week I will ask a question. It will begin the priority. So this is really something that led me to try to focus on one thing when I decide to focus on it. But because I'm not afraid to forget. I'm not afraid to lose my inspiration or whatever it can be. I just focus on that because this is important for me. I would like to be proud of me at the end of the week.
That's amazing. And sorry to interrupt, but thank you, Dr. Martin, for typing that out, that what can I do to be proud of me next week. I think I might print that out and put it on every wall that I see.
Right? Me too.
That's a way
I tell a story. I'll just quickly tell you. I tell a story. First time I taught a second semester course in programming, the last question on the homework was, show me the code that you're the most proud of. And all the students in the class said, what do you mean? Because all they had done was problems from the book and they weren't proud of anything. I completely revamped the course because of that. It's
really important. It's just really important. If you don't proud, you will not remember it. It will be I heard about that at the time, back on the time, but I don't remember anything because you didn't proud of what you.
Yeah.
It's really important, I guess. This is the personal.
It'll be on all my Apple devices, and I'll see it everywhere I go. What can I do next week?
Starting a movement. This is awesome. Amazing.
Well, Fred, we know you're past midnight in Paris already.
Oh yeah.
So we're having a great time, but let me see if we can draw things to a close. I think one of the things that strikes me the most is that you are so giving to meet here with us and to share like the details of your process and your tools and your mindset and that kind of openness and sharing, I think is something that we really, really need to feel in a time of a lot of disconnection. So we're incredibly grateful to you. And I hope that you are teaching somewhere. I hope you're a natural teacher. I hope you're teaching many thousands of people because you're very, very good at it.
Maybe this is something I like. I don't have the opportunity right now, but this is really something I like. Share this kind of stuff. Share. Yeah, that's me. And my father was a teacher. I think this is why I have in my blood, I have the teacher.
Yeah. No,
but we hire adjuncts, and if the time zone doesn't bother you, let's stay in touch.
Yes. But hey, everyone, if you're interested in connecting with Fred, here's the information right for you.
Yeah. Basically, I just created this link yesterday, I guess. I would like to create a community about immersive music experience. I don't know what should be exactly the community, what we will do, a podcast, a YouTube video, or just a newsletter. But if you have an interest in this subject, really looking for meet a lot of other people who have this kind of interest, because here in Paris, I really feel alone sometimes.
I will put this out. We will put this out just to build a community. And it's such an interesting art form and just a way to express ourselves. And if we can do it, and you know how I feel, just the whole global aspect I think is really important, because community is what we make of it. It's not a geographical location.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah.
And if everybody was so too shy maybe to ask me a question or one more precision or whatever, just say hi at fredazarty.com, and I will be happy to answer any question or whatever stuff.
Amazing.
That is.
Fantastic. Well, we'll give you a round of silent applause because we have everybody muted, but they're all clapping.
Thank you so much.
A real, actual, place, a space. Everyone would be standing.
Thank you. I appreciate this moment. Thank you for having me. That's really, I really like to talk about this kind of subject and I have some feedback of other people and you like me? Yes. So that's pretty cool.
Well, thanks everyone for coming. We'll be posting a recap of this on the college website, so you'll be able to see it on our YouTube channel there. We'll be distributing it out to all our music students and SRT students, our computer science students. So I think hi@fredazarty.com is going to see some traffic.
Yes.
Okay. Waiting for that.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yep. See ya.
Outstanding. Take care now. Thanks again. Good night, everyone.